Hey guys, I really want to educate you as much as I possibly can on the CPI report that came out today. We've been talking about May 10th for a long time now, and this has been a highly anticipated report showing that inflation is drastically going to drop like it did in November, where we were going to see a huge movement in interest rates, and this was going to start everything moving forward. Magically, over the weekend, the BLS came out and they revised the CPI reports from 2022 magically. And so I kind of want to show you that and go into a little bit of detail and help you understand exactly what's going on right now. If we take a look at this chart that I'm showing right here on my screen, number one is this yellow line right here. This was the CPI reports from 2022 before they revised them. And this blue line is the new ones. So if we can take a look at this, the yellow line was a lot higher for this report that was supposed to come out today, and they revised it and made it lower by 0.1%. They did the same thing in June. So they took, it's supposed to be very high in June, and they revised it and brought it a lot lower magically. What they ended up doing is shoving this all the way towards the end of the year. So at the end of the year, we're going to see a lot of relief, basically with inflation and as far as what's going on. So I want to break down a little bit of the numbers that came out today. As far as the headline and the core, as far as what's happening here, year over year is what we're always taking a look at. The headline went down 0.1%. The core came down 0.1%. The core is what the government or the Fed believes that they can control. So to see that come down 0.1%, obviously that's why we're seeing up in the top right hand corner here that it's bond friendly or interest rates got a little bit lower today. It's not as big as we were hoping. If they would have kept the original CPI report from 2022, that would have been a little bit different here. There's some things here that got a lot better and some things here that really stuck out month over month that kind of made this report what it is. Number one, we've been talking about shelter. This is the first time in a long time, about a year, where shelter actually came down, and it came down 0.1%. So this is 43% of the core, and this is what we were looking for, was shelter to finally cool off, and it finally did. That really helped us out. The big thing here is lodging away as well was up 2.2% last month, and it's down 3% this month. So that really helped us. What they didn't predict and what they didn't foresee coming was used car sales. So month over month, used car sales were up 4.4%. And let me kind of break this down in a little bit more detail for you and understand that this right here cannot hold very long. And so this really helped that CPI report today to come in a little bit higher than expected because of kind of what's happening in the used car sales. I want to show you this because obviously shelter is 43% of this report. March of basically 2022 versus March or April of 2023, right? And so what we're going to see here is all these 22 readings of shelter have just gotten so much higher. With this being 43% of this report, what we're going to see on a year over year basis is this number on the far right hand side is going to start staying extremely low. So as we get into these, April, May, June, which are obviously, going to get projected into now the June release of the Fed meeting and also the CPI report, and also, into July, we're going to see a lot of stuff happening where from here on out, we should see interest rates start to get a little bit better. We were hoping they were really going to take off at this point. They will get better. They will continue to get better throughout the summer. But it's one of those games where we just got to sit here and wait a little bit and watch this progressively happen. Really break down the used cars and why this helped the CPI report and why it all makes sense that it won't in the future. And this is why we will see interest rates get a little bit lower. If we look at it, it's up 4.4% in 1 month. If we do this on an annual basis, that means used cars will go up 50% annually, which is, it can continue. So if we take a look at this, that was 3.25% as far as weighing in on the core CPI and pushing that up to 0.14. Without this, the CPI would have come in at 0.27 on a month over month, which it would have come in, the total report would have came in at 5.4 versus 5.5. So we would have seen a little bit of more gains with interest rates if the used car industry wasn't up 4.4% a month over month. So what we've got to understand here, shelter is going to get a little bit better every single month. Used cars are now going to start coming down. And a lot of these inflationary numbers just can't hold up. And this is why we're going to continue to see interest rates get a little bit lower throughout the summer. Amazing stuff that's happening in the industry right now. Let me kind of look at these charts with you so you guys kind of understand them. There's these support barriers that we're trying to break through on the 30-year. We're really close. We've broken through them before. We're sitting here. When you take a look at the last 2 years, these support barriers have been really big things that interest rates have been sitting above or getting worse. Interest rates have been going higher. In order to go have interest rates go a little bit lower, all these support levels over the last 2 years have had to come together, and we had to crest through them. And we're very close to breaking through all four of them right now. And once we break through them and we can hold this line, which is a great start to that, we're going to see the opposite of what we just saw for the last 2 years, where it was sitting below those four. We're going to start seeing it above those four, and we're going to see that trend start to go up, or meaning that interest rates are going to get a lot lower. If you guys have any questions on the CPI report, feel free to reach out. Hopefully this was enough detail to help you guys understand what's going on in the CPI report, why it didn't come in as great, but also came in really good for us. And, obviously green means bonds are reacting, which is bond friendly, which means interest rates are going to get a little bit lower. And we should see this continue throughout the summer. One big thing that you've got to pay attention to is, the future funds are really rallying today. Basically, they're stating that there's 100% chance that you're going to see a 25 basis point cut in the month of September. So again, there's a 100% chance based on Fed futures on their funds that there will be a 25 basis points cut coming in September, which is great news for inflation and also interest rates.